Hey guys, today's video is about a demonstration of Impressionist technique, and this is particularly the Impressionist movement that was there in the 19th century. The idea behind this is to produce a sketch in that kind of a technique that was used by Monet, Renoir, Pissarro, and many others. So we will look at the brush strokes as well as the use of colors. So let's see what we can gather from this particular exercise. So I'm starting on a white canvas, and this was quite common with the chief impressionist Claude Monet, and he mostly worked on white canvases, and then he will cover the surface with various things. Here I'm doing a drawing with some warm colors. They possibly would have may have done it with various colors, but I do a drawing before I put any colors, so that I'm totally confident about what I'm going to do. If I need to rectify anything, then I will do that rather than later, which is not a very good practice that I found. Okay, so I lost some amount of footage there while I was doing the distant trees, but you can see how I'm holding the brushes. This is what I called, a toothbrush grips or something like that, and it's mostly scrubby and just scrubbing the brush on top of the canvas surface to deposit the paint on top of the surface. And this is how most of the impressionists actually painted, except for maybe Renoir, who used sweeping strokes. But in the methods of Camille, Pissarro, as well as Monet and Alfred Sisley, three of them are the prime examples of how Impressionism is to be done. Here I'm putting down some of the ultramarine and on top of this white canvas, and to create the reflection. And there is some warmth in the sky as well, with a slight amount of yellow, and trying to replicate that. And the water should be a little bit darker than the sky itself, because it's a reflection, it's not the source of light. And now I'm moving on to the trees, and you can see that these are actually dabbing strokes that are the representative of that particular movement and how they figured out their way of painting. And a lot of artists actually painted with the round brushes, but also the other brushes may have been used. But it's easier to paint impressionistic paintings with round brushes, especially when you have to use the dabbing strokes. You can use like this. I mean, you can use any side of the brush. Since it's round, it'll have paint, and when you're running out of the paint, you can just roll it a little, and a new area will come up with fresh paint. And here I'm depositing lighter paints to create the reflection. And you can become very detailed, but the idea of impressionism was not to be bogged down by detail, but rather do it very fast, to catch a glimpse before the environment changes. So I'm painting from a photograph and also from a memory, and here I'm no way trying to replicate the photograph. It's what I mostly feel, but that too, the painting was finished within an hour. This is a small painting. They painted on bigger paintings, much bigger than this one. So their energy is very much visible on their canvases. Although Impressionism means that the French Impressionism, but there are a lot of artists before the Impressionists and much later, and even today, a lot of artists actually painted in Impressionistic manner rather than the old classical way of glazing and various other direct method. Even Sargent was quite taken by Impressionism, because he was also doing a similar stuff in a different way. So he understood this and retained his ways, and but also followed this new stuff that was coming up at that point. Zorn's paintings are very impressionistic, and so don't think that impressionism is just one particular technique. Rather, it's an impression of an artist, and how that person replicates that on that impression on top of the canvas is a very individualistic thing. Remember, this is the beginning of modern art, so you have to understand that they are trying to interpret from nature or whatever they had in front of them and create something that was not realistic, or maybe I'll put it in this way, that they don't look the way we see the world. So that is the impressionism, how they saw it, and eventually it led to very spiritual kind of a thing, or maybe intellectual kind of a thing, and they denied reality. But then they were creating a new sort of reality that wasn't physical in nature, that was more of a spiritual as well as intellectually stimulating. But here I am at the end of the painting, and this is the final piece. Now you can see that there was hardly any effort to make it look the way we see the world, but it was an interpretation. So if you like this video, then please click the like button and also subscribe, and remember to click the bell icon so that you get notified when a new video has been uploaded. Kindly check my website for more paintings. I thank you for your time. Take care.